Hi, my name's Tim from Plants Management Australia. Today we're going to be looking at Hydrangea Magical Revolution. It's the middle of winter now, it's the middle of July, and we've got this plant here that we had full of flowers for all of last summer. So we need to look at what we're going to do to treat it best, give it a bit of a pot up, give it a bit of a prune so that it gets its best flowering performance for next year. So you can see on this plant here that we've got some flower heads that are left from last year. We've got some old leaves, and we've also got some new growth coming from in the middle of the plant. First, what we're going to do is we're going to pot up our plant to give it the best nutrient and the best root conditions for next year's growth. Okay, so when you're potting up your plant, you need a couple of things. You need a pot, obviously, it's a bit bigger than the one you've been growing it in. It needs to be that little bit bigger because it needs to sustain a new season's root growth for the whole following summer. We need some potting mix as well. Here we've got some fine premium potting mix. This has got fertiliser built in, so it's incorporated into the mixture, and it's a good premium grade. Stick to a premium grade because it gives you all the airfield porosity and all the nutrients that the plant needs to grow for a whole season. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some of our potting mix and we're going to put it in the bottom of our pot. Once we've got a bit of potting media in the bottom of the pot, now it's time to gently remove the plant from the existing container. I like to lift from where the branches are so that the weight's not going directly onto the roots, and then gently tap the pot and the plant will fall free. You'll see lots of little fibrous roots around the outside. They're the new points of growth where it's going to start to grow happily for the next season. Gently lower the plant into the pot, into the container, your new container, and sprinkle more of the potting mix around the edge, firming the plant in so that it's nice and happy in its new home. When you've filled up the container with the new potting mix around the plant, you should have a little lip of about ½ inch or 2 to 3 centimetres from the top of the pot to the top of the potting mix. If you fill it up too much and right to the top, it means there's no reservoir for the water to sit in there when you water it. Because what you want to be able to do is pour water in, allow it to fill a little, and then soak through the container and all the way through to the bottom. It's also important to remember when you're selecting your container that you have a hole in the bottom or a couple of drainage holes, because this potting mix is designed for moisture to move through and not pool in the bottom. It will hold moisture around the roots, but you don't want it to be sitting flooding from the bottom. So now we just want to give it a gentle water in, filling up that reservoir so that it's all the way to the top and can soak in nicely. Okay, so we've potted up our hydrangea into its new container. We've given it some fresh potting mix, given it a nice water in, and it's ready to go and grow away for the following season. The last thing we've got to do is give it a quick prune so that we can make sure that it's got nice clean growth points for the following season. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the old flower heads. But when we're removing the flower heads, we want to prune down to an active bud. So here I am just going down halfway or 3/4 of the way down the stem to a point just above these active buds. And if you have a close-up look here, you can see where I'm cutting is where I'm taking back the branch to where there's a nice active growth point. The other thing to look at to prune out is any dead wood from last year, and come back and cut to just above the next point of growing, which you can see is the buds that are emerging. So with a branch like this, we can see there's lots of new growth emerging off the old wood. I'd be inclined to leave this one here because you can see this bud is going to emerge, and that's going to be our earlier flowering. So by leaving some buds like this and some growth like this from last year or late last season, it'll enable the plant to actually generate more flowers early, and then the older wood will produce the later flowers in the season, so we'll get a lengthier flowering season. You can see here in the middle of this plant we've got quite a significant dead branch. So I'm going to take that right back into the heart of the plant and remove that so that we've only got living wood. Leaving dead wood in the middle of the plant is an invitation for disease. So what we want to do is pull that out, and we've only got active living growth on our hydrangea. And there we have it, the finished product. Our Magical Revolution hydrangea is pruned, potted, ready to go for next season. Now, because it's the middle of July, it's the middle of winter, we're not going to see a lot of rapid growth for the next month or two, but when it gets to September, October, give it a little liquid feed, give it a boost, and you'll see an amazing flower performance coming for next season.